I found something today that was I think it was in the Washington Post. Kind of a scary letter. Well, not a letter, it's an op-ed piece, but it was written by Michael Steele. You've seen him before, former head of the Republican National Committee and Lieutenant Governor, I think, of Maryland. Charlie Dent, Mary Peters, Denver Riggleman, and Christine Todd Whitman. Dent represented the congressional district in Pennsylvania for about 13 years. Mary Peters was the Secretary of Transportation during George W. Bush administration. Denver Riggleman was the 5th Congressional District representative from Virginia for one term, I guess. And Michael Steele, as you know, is the Republican National Committee chair, former. And Christy Todd Whitman was governor of New Jersey for, 7 or 8 years, in addition to serving as head of the EPA, I guess, during the Bush administration. But they had this opinion piece. I want to share it with you. Headline, "The Republican Party has lost its way. Fellow Americans, join our new alliance." Okay, let me share this with you because I think it's important that we know that there are still, I've tried to make this clear, there are a number of Republicans who are still trying to resurrect their party, even though their party is dead. It has been replaced by the Christian Fascist Party. But there are a few Republicans, like Michael Steele, for one, who I thoroughly enjoy. There are a number of former Republicans that I find bright, entertaining, have some good points to make. I wouldn't vote for him, although Michael Steele, I might vote for him. I don't know. He's not running for anything. I digress. Anyway, this is what they put together. They say the Republican Party made a grievous error this week by ousting Liz Cheney from the House leadership for telling the truth about Trump's big lie, which has wreaked havoc in our democratic republic by casting doubt over the 2020 election. Cheney rightfully struck back against party leaders and warned about the GOP's dangerous direction. She is not alone. Alongside dozens of prominent Republicans, ex-Republicans, and independents, we are announcing what we're calling a call for American renewal, a nationwide rallying cry against extremist elements within the Republican Party and highlighting the urgent need for a new common sense coalition. We urge fellow Americans to join us. Well, now, obviously, they're talking about fellow Republicans, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to continue this little piece here, but, you know, I find this almost pathetic. Really, what they're saying here. Although a couple of these people, Christy Todd Whitman, I have great respect for, Michael Steele also. But it's their party that produced Donald Trump with 40 years of infiltration in their party by these Christian Nazis. So I've said this before, it just seems pathetic that now that this element within the Republican Party has murdered the Republican Party, survivors of this mass death are now whining and wheedling and asking America, oh, look, really, help us reform the Republican Party. Well, I'm sure you will get support, Michael Steele and Christy Whitman and the rest of you, but you're the people who did this. What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't know that you did it? Look back over the 40-year history of the Republican Party, and you tell me. The piece goes on. Our alliance includes former governors, members of Congress, cabinet secretaries, state officials, seasoned political strategists, and grassroots leaders dedicated to offering a hopeful, principles-based vision for the country and ensuring that our votes have decisive impact in key elections across the United States. We want to give voice to the millions of Americans who feel politically homeless and mobilize them to help chart a new path forward for our country. It is time for a rebirth of the American cause, which we will pursue in partnership and loyal competition with others committed to the preservation of our union. That's a hat tip to the Joe Biden Democrats, I guess. It goes on. Tragically, the Republican Party has lost its way, perverted by fear, lies, and self-interest. What's more, GOP attacks on the integrity of our elections and our institutions pose a continuing and material threat to the nation. Yeah, well, you're absolutely right, former Republicans, you are. But when you say the Republican Party has lost its way, I'm sorry. I've got to stand on the front porch of the Daniel Scapin studio here in the foothills of the North Georgia mountains and scream, bullshit! Your party didn't lose its way. Your party was directed to the mess that it's in right now. So stop putting it in passive tenses. We lost our way. You took your party in that direction. The piece goes on. The January 6th insurrection was a wake-up call for many who had remained loyal to the party, even while harboring concerns about its direction. Concerns? I mean, you have concerns when the appointment you had with your pediatrician or your gynecologist or whomever, when the appointment is delayed for an hour, that causes concerns. What these Trumpists were doing, which your party has been doing, has been slowly destroying America. You call that a concern? How about a fucking full-blown crisis, Republicans? They go on. Many have since left the Republican Party. The GOP has effectively become a privileged third party, ranking behind independents and Democrats in voter registration. I don't get the privilege, but okay. Meanwhile, it goes on, Republican legislators are trying to impede voting rights across the country as a last-ditch effort to retain power. We will not wait forever for the GOP to clean up its act. If we cannot save the Republican Party from itself, we will save America from extremist elements in the Republican Party. Well, folks, I mean, how are you going to do that? You're going to become Democrats? I mean, how are you going to do that? They go on. That means hastening the creation of an alternative, which is a political movement dedicated to our founding principles and divorced from the GOP's obsessive cult of personality around a deeply flawed and twice impeached man whose favorability ratings are reportedly tanking in key swing districts around the country. I guess they don't want to mention the orange bastard's given name, Donald Jesus Trump. Oh, well. We will fight, it goes on, for honorable Republicans who stand up for truth and decency, such as Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Lisa Murkowski, and Mitt Romney, to name a few. You mean to name all of them, don't you? Oh, that's right, the sainted Susan Collins. I forgot to mention her name. Okay. I'm not mocking her. That's not a speech impediment. That's just the way she talks. Letter goes on, but we will not rely on the old partisan playbook. We intend to work across party lines with other Americans to oppose extremists and defend the republic wherever we can. Oh, okay. Together with our patriotic allies in other parties. What other parties? Well, there's the Democratic Party. Is there, are there other, I think the Communist Party USA is still around, the Democratic Socialists. Is that what you mean? Okay. Together, it goes on, with our patriotic allies and other parties, our movement will stand against fearmongers, conspiracy theorists, and the opportunists who seek unbridled power. Okay, well, I'll join you on that one. We plan to invest in a deeper bench of effective leaders in cities and states across the country, while recruiting a new generation of principled, pragmatic citizens to the cause. Pragmatic. Really? Well, that's something new and different, because the Republican Party has not been pragmatic. It has been dogmatic and has been Christian fascist ever since the sainted Ronald Reagan. But all right, I'm still listening, guys. Go ahead. Some, no doubt, will urge us to join the Democratic Party. We believe that inching toward a single-party system would be dangerous and would fail to represent the diverse viewpoints in our nation. Okay. I totally agree with that, but every time an effort is made to establish a third party in this country, the Christian fascists are the most vocal about crushing it. Oh, well, that was then, this is now. The letter goes on. America cannot have just one party committed to preservation of its democratic institutions. There must be at least two, if not more. You're referring to the Democratic Party again, and I appreciate that, I guess. With Cheney's dismissal from House leadership, the battle for the soul of the Republican Party and our country is not over. It is just beginning, which is why we are forming what we're calling a resistance of the rational against the radicals. The resistance of the rational. Well, Michael Steele and Christy Whitman are obviously the rational. I may not agree with their political points of view or their policy points of view, but they certainly are rational. Okay, resistance of the rational. Has a nice kind of catchy rhythm to it, doesn't it? Okay. Extremists may have fired the first shot in this moral struggle for America's future, but with truth as our lodestar, those laboring to renew America will fire the last. Ow! All right. Hey, that's pretty cool right there. They may have fired the first shot, but we'll fire the last, they are saying. Okay. I'm real curious to see this nationwide town hall next month, where current and former U.S. leaders are going to be there. Yeah, I'm all for that. I really am. I don't mean to give the impression that I'm a total cynical little shit where it concerns former Republicans. No, I'm not. I hate to hear them use that passive tone as though the Republican Party went to hell through what? Some dark magic? Something happened that nobody was aware of while it was happening? Guys, girls, that's not going to work. You all knew what was going on. Hell, you are the ones who created the modern Republican Party. And you didn't wake up and pay attention when the Christian extremists started eating its way into your party and rotting it from the inside. Where were you? Come on, Michael. You're not a kid. Christy Whitman, you're not a child. Come on, where were you people? Adam Kinzinger, okay, Kinzinger, you are kind of young. But where were you people over the past 40 years as this was happening? I don't think even Michael Steele is that old. What, he's in his 50s, 60s? All right, maybe this group of former Republicans have been so shocked, and I'm sure they have, so blown away by what this filthy pig Donald Trump did to the Republican Party, to the country, to mutual respect, what little bit of it was left in this country, to the idea of working together, what little bit of it was left in this country. Trump shows up as a result of 40 years of Republican extremism and destroys every fucking thing he touches, rips it to pieces. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.